Fountain.
Here.
Marion Ellis.
Here.
Karen Lynch.
Here.
Barbara McGinnis.
Here.
Alice Eastmuir.
Here.
Joe Cools.
Here.
Jim Woodrow.
I'm here.
Now Maker.
Here.
Great. Prior to tonight's session, we had executive session where we discussed potential land acquisition and staffing. And let's go, we have no presentation for this evening, so we go right into public safety report. Barry, what do you got for us?
Good, thanks. Which one?
There you go.
All right, for the month of August, we had 252 dispatches. Out of that, 129 were actually transports. The main station had 130 calls. The B station or Worcester station had 73 calls, and the traffic station had 49 calls. The breakdown by township was 93 in Skipback, 63 in Worcester, 31 in Perkiomen, 16 in Trapp, and 13 in Lower Southford. There were 18 prison calls. Which brings us to the present. I know I reported to you last month, but the situation hasn't really gotten any better. Again, we've received no payments since last month. I've written to the Vice President of WellPath and had no response. I've written to Senator Pennycook and coordinating with her as well as with Bradford's office, who says he's elevating it to the governor's level, so we'll see what happens at this point. But to give you an idea, prior to WellPath signing, or rather being awarded their reorganization, for the month of January, they gave us 16 payments. The month of February, they gave us 8 payments. The month of March, they gave us 5 payments. April, 12 payments. May, 17 payments. June, 12 payments. After the reorganization, which happened in the end of June, 1 payment in July, 0 payments in August, and to date, September, 0 payments. Obviously, there's a trend there. We have roughly 13 that are past due at this point, 15 that are current, and 14 which will be due in October, or past due in October, I should say. We're basically back to playing the same game that they played with us before, which is, the way we do this is we have to bill through an electronic portal, and when we go in, there is no quote-unquote invoice. It's an electronic document. They either approve it or they disapprove it. What they're doing is they're denying the claims, usually for obscure reasons, like no pre-authorization or it's being billed too late, whatever obscure reason they can come up with. At that point, we have to appeal it, so there's no actual invoice in their mind until that appeal is finalized. So that's how we get to this. Things go on for 60, 90.
How much do they currently owe you, Barry?
Well, past due, well, total billing would be 63 at $1,300. So you're looking at about $78,000. Not to mention the $23,000 they're not paying us because of Chapter 11. Of course, my biggest fear here is I've seen so many companies do it over the years, including myself when I had my own business, where after they're awarded the Chapter 11 by the courts, they then run up their bills for 6 or 7 months and then declare bankruptcy. So if that happens, then we're out another $120,000, $130,000, which is what I want to try to protect us against.
I appreciate the update. The only thing I'd say is Matt saying he will bring it to the governor's attention sounds awfully promising and interesting to me. I'd love to get that feedback. Let's get a chance to close that loop.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it goes through. We're also going to try going through the medical director for the state and see, since his office is right next door to the governor's, they're literally down the hall from each other. We're going to try to work with him as well, Dr. Lang. So we'll see what happens there. In addition to that, we also got hit with an obscure bill from the IRS who says we didn't pay our taxes in 2020. Well, we don't pay taxes first off, so that's a little insane. But in any case, they ran up the bill with interest and charges of $36,000 and assured us that nothing would happen until they finished their investigation. Unfortunately, what they did do is they seized the money that we were supposed to get paid from Medicare. So at this point, we're out another $18,200 some did talk to, our accountant talked to one of the agents, we got his agent number. He said basically he didn't have the authority to release the funds, but he could stop it from happening from this point forward. They're saying they're so backed up, this has been going on for 9 months now. So, no indication as to how long it would take. I did get in touch with, our congressman, Congressman Dean, and she's elevating it through her channels to the IRS. It'll be at least 2 more weeks before they get back to us and give us some answer as to how long it's going to take.
But that should not get financially worse, it's just that there's a bucket there we're trying to get back. Theoretically.
I don't know how they work.
You keep us posted.
I'm not gonna,
All right.
I'm not gonna say what the IRS does. I have a hard enough time figuring out what I do. And I think that's it.
Any other questions for Mary?
Is there any other legal means that needs to be pursued? And is our solicitorship able to intervene in any way on an issue like this? Just asking. For a friend.
We'll look into it. I mean, I'm not sure that I really represent the EMS, but,
Yeah, no, I just wondered.
Yeah.
We're searching for
Yeah.
answers, so.
Actually, I'll look into it, get back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary. All right, I will open up to public comment. Clint, you were first.
Okay, first I wanted to thank Alice for expediting the drain problem on the trail. Apparently Jack Strauss, I called, or Sparry's, like, then, I wanted to ask, any chance we get the elevator soon?
Yeah.
I'm thrilled to be doing yoga in here, but Cheryl likes to put us against the wall, and we can't go against the wall.
Yeah. We're
Did you ever
working on
see
it.
The Big Bang Theory? The entire series, the elevator didn't
Yeah.
work? We found out why. It's backed up, they're scheduling us out 6 more weeks, 8
You know,
more
there is
weeks.
an exit from down there, I don't know why we can't use it.
You know
That's-
why?
that's a
Because
code
it's an
thing.
ADA issue, so it wouldn't be right for us to have that available. If somebody, say, who came in a wheelchair and needed, cause there's
Well,
steps.
they can go in back there,
In a wheelchair, you can't go in through the stairs.
all the way in the back, there's a door, a real man door.
With the ramp,
Hey, person door.
you won't, man, woman,
No, but it's stairs, right?
No, not down, it goes right from floor level out.
I'd have to look. I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't know
I
off the
use-
top of my head
I've been
either.
down there a ton of times, and there's always been steps to get out, it's
So maybe there's 2 steps or something.
No,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
No, I don't even recall 2 steps, I'm more than happy to walk it with you, Clint, sometime you can show me what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But,
And my final one was, how's that big development coming along?
By the airport?
No, the one up the street.
So this is not Q and A, Clint, you know the deal here, public comment, say what
I
you
know
want,
that's
but as
right.
far as, so at the corner, there's nothing proposed, they gave a presentation at some point, they didn't even ask for approvals, they were socializing, we haven't heard back since. Okay?
I thought I'd try.
Yeah, I gave you a good answer, but that's the truth, there's nothing right there going on. Anything else, public comment,
Yeah.
Sam, I think it was next.
I'm sorry, if
Sam
you could,
Engel, 3884 Johnny Circle.
Sam what?
Engel, Engle.
Thank
My
you.
only public comment was I picked up this agenda and it has a start time of 7:30 on it, so I wondered if this was a fit. This right here, right now.
The legal notice indicates 7 p.m., correct?
And it is online at 7 p.m. I just wanted to bring it to your attention that the agenda that was printed here and posted in the lobby does say 7:30.
We realize that, it's just a typo,
Thank
there's
you.
no legal significance.
Thank you, that's all.
We're gonna correct going forward though, thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Nicolene, you next?
Michaeline Pahalski. So I apologize for not asking about this or bringing it to your attention before the soliciting thing, but I realize we get a lot of trash thrown in our yard like this. And I don't know if that falls under solicitations or litter, but I was hoping the township could do something about the constant trash ads we get thrown in our driveway. I feel like 1 a week.
Really?
And would that be addressing the soliciting peddling?
I don't think that falls within, I don't think throwing things on your yard falls within the definition.
But it is an advertisement provided by a landscape service or
I understand.
contractor.
Thank you for
Thank you.
bringing that up. Tanya, you had something.
Yeah, Tammy Cattouse, Slanders Road. I wanted to thank Barbara. We did a drive around to some of the historic buildings in specifically in Creamery. The 100-year-old houses, and she was gracious enough to give me some time on her schedule, and we did that tour, and it was very, it was nice to see the houses, and they are still there. My comment to that is before the board, I know that the, new comprehensive plan is going into effect, and I know there's been a lot of, residents that have been looking into the historic angle, and they wanna see that preserved. And while I know we can't make residents, do anything specifically to their house, but there can be things written into the code, or even if someone was going to, demo one of these houses, there could be a little bit more guidelines, or, maybe some suggestions, or maybe even links on the website to help, like, to make sure that we keep these 100-year-old houses in Skippack, because they are historic. So I don't know if, more brainstorming can be done on this subject. I do have a colleague in St. Courtney, so I have to get in touch with her with the Historical Society, and I would love to see her comments on this too. So, I just wanted to keep everyone abreast of the situation, and, to keep thinking about it when you're going through that plan. Oh, and one other comment was I reached out to Alice. I didn't know if there was an update on the barn with moving that, on the Bridge Road. I knew there was 6 months, and I know that plan was approved, so I didn't know if there was an update or anything on that.
The 6 months was my understanding, didn't start until they list their intention, nothing, we made our approval, they still have to get state approval and stuff, so the timer hasn't started.
Oh, good, okay, great.
Yeah, my recollection is it's triggered upon the application for demolition permit.
So we've got time.
Okay.
Thank you, Tanya. Any other public comment? All right, thank you all. Moving on, approval of the minutes. We have a motion to approve the August 13th, 2025 Board of Supervisors meeting minutes.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Administrative actions, the treasury report. Do I have a motion to acknowledge the treasurer's report as of August 31st, 2025?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes, sir, thank you. All right, let's pay some bills. Do I have a motion to pay the, for the bills, approve the bills paid August 14th through September 9th? The general fund, the amount of $26,790.45. The open space fund of $73,266.91. The sewer fund for $100,057.36. As well as the bills to be approved for payment today, September 10th. The general fund of $464,602.85. The open space fund of $3,255.34. The sewer fund of $18,167.09. As well as the liquid fuels fund of $134,954.17. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Continuing on, professional staff reports. Mr. Woodrow, you are first.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Recall that last month we had opened bids for renovation of our bocce courts here at Palmer Park. Recall that those bids came back higher than we had hoped. We were in the range of $100,000 for that work, and if we included some of the extras, we're up as high as $110,000. So the board asked if I could go back to the low bidding contractor and see if we could reduce that scope of work, mostly removing the paver block work from around the pavilion. We felt that Public Works crews could probably handle that themselves, and that would save a fair amount of money. So going back to Xavier Contracting and removing that scope, their bid would then be reduced to $81,250. And, asking the board whether that number feels more appropriate for bocce work. Again, needing to find money in the budget in the Park and Rec Fund, I guess, for that work if the board were so to pursue.
Remind us that the original bid was $105,000 or something?
Original bid was 98,460.
98.
But with the additional work for some of the other paving, or paver lots, it was up to 110, so that was high.
Also 110 down to,
81,250.
so we're saving 25%.
Yeah, and we removed a fair amount of scope of work from the contract.
Sam, go ahead.
Can I ask a question? Do we pay sales tax on that?
We do not.
Okay. And that's through like a bidding process?
Yeah, so we prepared a bid spec and publicly advertised the bids at a pre-bid meeting, met with contractors. They all submitted their proposals based upon the bid form that was in the contract documents. And the low bidder was Xavier Contractors out of the Poconos, actually. And have done some work with them in the past in other communities. And they were willing to remove that scope of work and give us the reduced number if that would work.
Thank you.
Any board questions for Mr. Woodrow?
No, I just would add that, while we'll talk about playground equipment later, that, we will not spend what we had, the entire amount that we had put in the budget for playground equipment and splash pad for this year, which gives some room to doing the bocce court project.
So I hear we're saving 25%, we've got budget, and we're down to $80,000 to get the bocce courts up to snuff and safe and playable.
Correct.
All right. I will make the motion to award the contract for $81,250 to Xavier Landscape Design to fix the bocce courts.
I'll second it.
Motion second, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Tim, did you get a revised, I see here on August 18th, it says TPW proposed edit 81,250. Did you get a letter from them?
I did.
Okay,
Well, it was an email, Marion, but I figured that was sufficient, yes.
okay, just wanted to make sure.
Good question, but yes. Also last month, we were talking about Lenape Park and some of the ash borer damage we had received in that woodlands. And we had open bids again to have companies come in and start a reforestation process of Lenape Park. Those bids came in 46,000, 53,000, and again, that felt pretty expensive to do something that Mother Nature might otherwise do themselves. In talking to our arborist and talking to Ryan Belts from Perkins Conservancy, we think that there are grant funds available for some of this work. I'd actually reached out to Ryan and his team to see if they would make a grant application to get the new program. It used to be called Tree Vitalize. I think it's Trees for Watersheds. That is a state program that they would help and assist in getting that grant for us. And in the meantime, I'm wondering if it wouldn't be of some value to show some good faith effort to purchase some trees, again, saplings, and get some tree protection tubes on them. Ryan said that he has volunteers every weekend that would do that work for us. But I'm wondering if we'll pick a number, 75 saplings, if we would want to try and get those planted this fall, in cooperation with the Perkins Conservancy, as a team effort. And I think as we're thinking that there's much more opportunity to consult and work with the watershed and the Conservancy, and this might be a good step forward with both of those entities. Look at when he's sitting there smiling, I know. So I guess what I would like to do is have the board authorize a formal rejection of the original bids we opened for the reforestation project, and then maybe authorize the purchase of, pick a number, whatever number of trees. Maybe Nicolene could make some recommendations. A number of trees that maybe we would do as a good first effort. And Brian did say that he and his team would go up and make some recommendations as to species that we might want to try and plant this fall. I'm gonna throw 75 out there.
I think that's pretty common for a park.
Is there a dollar amount with that? Are we making a motion for something with a blank check?
Well, it would certainly be less than 10,000, but for 75 saplings with volunteer work, we're talking hundreds, I think, other than thousands.
$100 a tree, I'm just curious, like.
Yeah, not for the saplings, Sam, you know, the saplings are, you know, $30, something, I don't know what the exact number is.
Plus the protection.
Plus protection tubes as well. So not to exceed, you know, $7,500.
All right, let's,
But we're part of their group, their watershed group, so we're a sponsor of it. In fact, we just got another, request for our yearly donation, and I believe something in there has to do with trees.
But that would be the grant program that we work on
Okay.
for future. But we've been telling people for a while that we are going to go in and start to replenish some of that ash borer damage, so I thought it would be a good idea to get started on that.
might it help us with our grant application that we started some reforestation on our own?
Mike?
All right.
And without having a dollar amount on our agenda, is that allowable?
Oh, good question.
I don't think so.
All right, well, first things first, do I have a motion to reject the bid for the Lenape Park reforestation project that was originally, shared with us?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
And then why don't I continue to talk to Ryan, get some more definitive numbers, definitive scope, and we'll put that on the October agenda. I think that still gives us time, in the planting season, you know, we don't have to plant now, anyway, we're gonna get a couple more weeks, so that'd be perfect.
All right, sounds good. I would think you get a lot of head nodding for the scope you're talking about, so try to keep it around that.
Yeah. Perfect. We also, just to bring everyone up to speed, recall that we were awarded a Department of Community and Economic Development grant of $250,000 for the intersection of 113 and 73. Those dollars were earmarked for construction. So obviously, that's not gonna go very far from a construction dollar perspective. We have asked the agency if we could convert those dollars into design dollars rather than construction dollars. And Beth was kind enough to remind me that the agency is meeting on September 16th to render that decision. And so shortly after that, we will know for sure, and then be able to re-engage traffic planning and design to continue with their intersection improvement designs. I think we have them on pause for now, only because we didn't want to start spending public tax dollars where grant monies might otherwise be available. So I think at the October meeting, I'm going to come back and give some better information as to where we are with that design and those design funds, just by way of information.
Any questions for Mr. Woodrow about that? All right, thank you.
I just wanted to bring your attention to an email I sent the other day. As you guys begin your budgeting process, one of the things that we've been talking about is we should really identify funds for various projects that are coming on board. So in addition to the PennDOT permits that we have for Carradine and Mill, Creamery and Collegeville, Hildebiddle and Mill, we thought that there's some other work that might be of some value. And so I put that in an email to you guys, and as you're going through your budget deliberation process, if you could pick some projects that we could clearly identify funding for 2026, I think that would be very helpful.
And if I recall correctly, you had some suggestions with some swag of roughly what it would cost in that email, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, and with that, are we able to use open space fund for trail connections, or it depends on what property it's on?
I think it depends on what property it is. If it's purchased, well, good, I mean,
It's
I don't
maintenance.
know.
Isn't it maintenance?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's under the maintenance.
But it would have to be maintenance of property purchased with open space fund, not just any maintenance, right?
Well, the open space acquisition dollars we can use on improvements and repairs of open space we've purchased.
Yep.
If we were going to build sidewalks, you know,
Yep.
someplace else, we'd have to use general fund monies for that project, I believe.
All right, we'll keep that in mind, we'll go into the budget.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Questions, Mr. Woodrow, about that? All right, keep going your roll.
Yeah, you know, maybe Beth could help. We've got, next in our series of conversations about stormwater.
Yay.
So again, it's the 1970s, right? And we're, you know, some of us were watching the Brady Bunch, sitting at home with our folks and learning about, you know, all kinds of new things. But one of the things that I wanted to point out was, you know, what was happening nationally during the 1970s. Obviously, after the Second World War, GIs are coming home, GI Bill, you know, there's a lot of suburban development that was being constructed. Levittowns all occurred in the 1950s. And as that evolved over the next, you know, 20 or so, 30 years, we started having suburban development expand into areas that were outside of the urban centers. And so the 70s were kind of an important time for much of what we face today as to that time frame of development, 70s, 80s. There was not a whole lot of attention paid to storm sewer infrastructure, no attention paid to stormwater management. And so that next slide is one of the things that we started talking about are the costs that the municipality incurs for stormwater projects. We talked about, you know, early on we talked about our MS4 obligations, our pollution reduction plans, those kinds of improvements. We talked about aging infrastructure where pipes that are in the ground are failing and we need to replace. This week, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about an absence of infrastructure. And again, a pot of money that needs to be identified for improving the absence of infrastructure. This may be the next slide. So as I look at town, there are a couple of hotspots. This is the areas of our community that were developed in or around slightly after that time frame. And there's big projects. So Fort Bevan, Iron Bridge Estates, that First and Second Avenue area, Heiser Heights we like to call it, that was even before that. That was a 50s kind of development area. And so, you know, the area out by Kerr Road from 73 kind of east of the park. And so these are areas where our streets are narrow, our infrastructure is limited, and over the years we've had to spend money in those areas improving that infrastructure. So I've got a couple examples. Oh, one thing again, what we were building were good detention basins and having any kind of effective stormwater management. And so the absence of those kinds of things relate to the flooding that we're seeing in Perkins Creek, which will be next month's conversation. But a lot of this 1970s, 80s development really has impacted the flooding in Perkins Creek adversely. So just keep that in mind. So maybe next slide. Oh, I wanted to point out Iron Bridge Estates. And those blue lines in Iron Bridge Estates are actually streams. They're not flowing today, but at one time they were kind of pretty active water courses. Those channels, those swales still exist today. And you can see a lot of development that was constructed over top of those swales. And again, thankfully, we don't have a tremendous amount of issue in Iron Bridge Estates, but it is one that, you know, if we were a little in a different time, that might have caused a lot of problems for us. But so development like Iron Bridge Estates at that time is kind of indicative of some of the failures of earlier development patterns. Next slide. Wingate is one of the roads in Iron Bridge Estates. If you drive over it and you look down, there's a tremendous change in grade between the road and what is that stream channel. If you look down there, it goes right through people's backyards. There's swing sets down there. There's, you know, people keep firewood, and it's pretty developed, and it's maintained as lawn for the most part. And so if you drive over Wingate, get out of the car and look over there, you can see that's where that old stream channel used to run before there was a bunch of development called Iron Bridge Estates. Black Road, again, an older road in our community. We just repaved it last year. We added storm sewer when we paved that road, but you can see that, you know, it was a wide road. There's no really storm sewer infrastructure. There's no stormwater management at all relative to Black Road. Private properties are adjacent to it. So again, a spot where we have to spend more money in repaving to try and deal somewhat with the collection and conveyance of stormwater. Heiser Road. Right, so it's more of a driveway than a roadway. Stormwater kind of runs all over the place, you know, there's no curb, there's no sidewalk. There's something about Heiser that's a little bit bucolic, maybe we should return to that a little bit, but, you know, kind of the balance between, your aesthetic approval of road and stormwater management is, you know, one of the things that we're, you know, fighting against. So roads like Heiser, are other roads like, what do we do? Do we ever improve? So, questions? Here's one I like. So, this is our culvert that we need to improve on 113, just south of 73. But if you can see all of the impervious, dense development on the right side, all the impervious buildings, driveways, parking lots on the left side, again, no stormwater management, all of that runoff goes right into the creek. You know, it is a source of pollution from road salts and lawn fertilizers and, you know, whatever is coming off brakes you wear and tires and, you know, antifreeze. So again, this is another example of that 1980s vintage development that we saw in many of our communities.
Is all of that foliage, green stuff, trees and stuff growing up from
The side of the banks and
the
around,
banks.
exactly.
Yeah.
I drive by Marion often, and I'm looking, you know, from 113, I'm like, oof, again, no sidewalks, no curbs, you know, no stormwater collection, a lot of water just running wherever it wants to run. And again, it's not a nice road to live on, but, you know, thinking about it from a stormwater perspective and the absence of stormwater infrastructure, just another example of that vintage of development that kind of becomes one of these legacy issues that we have to struggle with. At some point, makes some sense to improve from a stormwater collection, conveyance, and management perspective. And I think that was my last
That's it.
slide.
Yep.
Yeah. So again, just didn't want to spend a lot of time. People get very bored easily talking stormwater, but again, just to be an awareness of where budget dollars need to be spent in the future for improving some of these older subdivisions where there is an absence of infrastructure.
Is this something that hits a comprehensive plan, a 10-year plan, or is it just a conversation that you have in terms of strategic planning out, spending?
Yeah, I'll defer to Matt a little bit, but you know, if there is, I guess, a community concern that, wow, a lot of these older developments, you know, again, there's no good pedestrian connections, there's, you know, stormwater issues, homes are being flooded, basements are being flooded, you know, there's roads are had trouble passing in storms, and if that comes up in the public discussion, then I think it becomes more of an action item. But I don't know that the comprehensive plan in and of itself.
There are general goals and objectives that address that issue. How specific we are with these different options for improving it. You generally don't see that in a comp plan. You just see here's the idea, here's something that needs to be addressed, and then we make recommendations for how you might want to have a further discussion for that. The same goes for historic as well. It's a section. These are all sections that the state requires be at least touched upon in the document.
What are some of the dollar numbers with these types of projects? Like, okay, we recognize the need for this project. Like,
Yeah,
what
well,
are some of the active projects other communities are doing, and what do the dollar values come into play?
And I'll tell you honestly that in my other communities, the complaints come in more regularly, and the answer continually is we just don't have any budget dollars to fix legacy problems.
Understood.
Yeah, and so.
But like, have you gone anywhere and seen, oh, that's a great example, and here's where you could start looking at that number?
Yeah, well, I'll give you an example. On Black Road this past summer, when we did the paving project, we added some storm sewer because, you know, there was, you know, damage to the road being done by continual water flow. And I think even in Black Road, it was just, you know, hundreds of feet of pipe rather than thousands of feet of pipe. I think we spent really $100 grand in storm sewer.
Okay, so it is a big dollar.
It's a big dollar.
Big dollar.
It's infrastructure.
And I mean, not too long ago, we had flooding down in Lenape Park, right? And I remember sitting in design and development, and nothing against it, the pavilion's great, but that was in a 100-year floodplain, and it was a
know, that was IDA, and guess what? The elevation of the pavilion was set 1.5 feet above the regulated 100-year floodplain.
Yeah, and it still was like.
And so when I get hit, and so we can talk about this with flooding, but we're here, Sam. So the 100-year floodplain is calculated on an assumption that the storm is going to dump about 7.5 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. And so then the water elevations are established based upon that assumption. I did dump like 12 inches of rain in a couple hours.
Yes, it changed it to 11 feet.
Right, and so all bets were off with regard to, you know, the floodplain maps that are based upon a different assumption. And there's been a lot of discussion as to, well, you know, given the severity of storms we're having, should we be changing our assumptions as to what that design flow should be?
I guess the question is, can open space money be used for infrastructure and flooding management? And I don't need an official answer, but my question would be.
Good question. I think we'll put that question. I don't know that answer, but I think that's one of the.
Okay. Thank you.
See, someone else is interested in stormwater.
Somebody in my club. Thank you, Sam. I planted him in the audience by now.
No, I think it was great because I drove around during IDA and I saw all of them. We were floodlocked. Like it was hard to get any here.
Oh, absolutely. And we weren't hit anywhere nearly as severely as Lower Providence was.
Oh, I was down on the bridge watching the school buses take the residents off the property because it was flooded.
Crazy. Yeah. Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Woodrow?
All I have this evening.
All right, we're up to the Township Solicitor, Mr. Cools.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First item on my agenda is proclamation.
Hey, you might maybe?
First item on my agenda is a proclamation. The board directed us to prepare a proclamation recognizing the life and service of Sharon Cullen. Would the board like me to read that proclamation, please?
Sure.
A proclamation recognizing the life and service of Sharon Cullen. Whereas Sharon Cullen, a beloved resident of Skippack Township, passed away peacefully on July 29, 2025. Whereas Sharon dedicated her professional career to public service, contributing greatly through her work in the Montgomery County District Attorney's Office, the County Commissioner's Office, and most recently as Director of Parking Facilities and Fleet Management. Whereas Sharon was known not only for her leadership and commitment, but also for her specific compassion and steadfast support of first responders. Whereas, together with her husband Sean, she co-founded the Montgomery County Hero Fund and charity, thereby creating a legacy of critical support for first responders and their families in times of tragedy. Whereas Sharon's life of service, kindness, and generosity has left a lasting and indelible mark on Montgomery County, Skippack Township, and all those with whom she came in contact. Whereas Sharon's love of family and community was the prominent and driving force throughout her life with her husband Sean, her family, co-workers, friends, and cherished pets. Whereas she will be deeply missed by those whose lives she touched. And whereas the Board of Supervisors of Skippack now desires to, and does, hereby recognize and honor the life of Sharon Cullen, express its deepest condolences to her family and loved ones, and acknowledge with gratitude her extraordinary contributions to public service and community support. Now therefore be it proclaimed that Sharon Cullen's birthday of October 3 shall be forever hereafter recognized and honored as Sharon Cullen Day by the residents of Skippack and all those who hold dear the high level of commitment, support, and compassion which so defined the extraordinary life of Sharon Cullen. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, and I understand that Sean was aware that this was happening, she couldn't make it tonight, and we're gonna make sure things forwarded to Sean.
Okay, yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay, the next item on my agenda is a request for enactment of ordinance number 364. It is the ordinance regulating operation of e-bikes, motorbikes, and all-terrain vehicles on township-owned property. The board and the public, I'm sure, will recall that this was a matter for discussion at the May meeting, the July meeting, and the August meeting of the Board of Supervisors. So I don't think there's really anything more to say about it, quite frankly. I would
I'm gonna jump at that one.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm
Motion
sorry,
carries.
I missed, who was Barbie refers?
We don't know.
Was it Barb and
Make it
Nick?
up.
Pick one.
Barb and Nick?
Barb and Marion, right?
Or Barb and Marion, okay. Thank you.
Okay, motion carries unanimously.
Sam, do you?
I was just gonna make a comment, I saw Haverford Township recently enacted helmets for that exact same purpose. And I was just curious, could you read that, like what the rule officially is gonna say?
Well, it's quite lengthy, and it was a matter for discussion.
Okay, I won't then.
We'll get you a copy of it. You
We'll get you a copy of it.
Thank you.
Yep.
The next item on the agenda is a request for enactment of ordinance number 365, and it is an ordinance amending the already in place regulations related to peddling and soliciting. This again was a matter for discussion at the May, July, and August meetings of the Board of Supervisors, so unless there are any specific questions, I would ask if there is a motion to enact ordinance 365.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And the last item on my agenda is the resolution related to conditional preliminary final land development approval to Maverick Zane Holdings LLC. I think we also know this application as EC Fencing, and it was a proposal which was presented initially by the applicant and his engineer a few months back. And there is a July 11, 2025 letter generated by Mr. Woodrow's office offering comment and conditions related to the proposed land development. The proposal calls for the construction of a new industrial building of approximately 23,000 square feet in floor area with office space and warehousing at 2101 Crestman. I did prepare a resolution of approval pursuant to the board's instructions. That resolution has been signed by the applicant, agreeing to all the conditions set forth therein. And unless the board has any questions for me regarding it, I would request and ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Pools. And, now our township planner, Matt, how you doing?
Good, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe we have slides.
Yep.
Yep, just a second, I just
There you
did
go.
wanna, direct your attention to the screen for an update on the comprehensive plan. All right, so we have a little preview there of the cover image of the draft that we're working with. This draft is largely prepared and ready to go. Just as a reminder of the procedure that now needs to be followed, this draft, which was created after multiple updates during these meetings, online survey process where the public was invited to make their voice heard, multiple workshops and appearances at public events where we could take input from the public as well. Also nearby township best practices and our own review of the previous comp plan. All that was put together following the state's guidelines by the municipal planning code as to what had to be in it. And that is going to be now distributed to the planning board for review, as well as the county, all neighboring municipalities, and the school board for their comment. They will have 45 days to comment. That's the next slide. Now we'll call these hypothetical dates on the slide for now. Let's say we are able to have this discussed on the 15th at the planning commission meeting. That will start the 45-day period. As I just mentioned, it's going to be distributed to those places and made available to the public. We don't know how yet. Likely either a printed copy on file here or maybe online. That's something we're going to discuss with your staff over the next few days. Assuming that happens on the 15th, then after that 45-day review period is over, say around October 30th, then we enter in a very brief period where I will be incorporating the changes that are suggested, and assuming that they are not anything substantial, we'll have that ready for potential plan adoption, say November 12th. If there is something substantial, then it'll have to be renoticed in that process. We'll, at least the back half of it will have to start again. So that's my update. That's where we are in the flow. We're getting very near to the end, very near. So expect to see something soon.
That's awesome. And November 12th, is that in time for the November board meeting, or is that missed the November board meeting? Look at my calendar.
Be a Wednesday. the
That's our
13th.
board meeting.
So that's the night of board meeting. So if all things work out perfectly, we would have it back in our hands the November 12th meeting to where we can do the final approval vote for it. It would be official.
Yes.
And
then
if it
we'll
slips
see-
a little bit, probably December, no worse than December.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions from the board on that? Questions from the audience?
When does the public get to view it? I was.
As soon as I can deliver it to
In
the
the next,
township.
like, week or
Um,
is that-
It's done now.
Yeah.
I just wanna spend another couple hours proofreading and looking through a few things, but, and it's typical that you'll find typos in it. Not like a badly misspelled word, but something in a previous town, someone said, well, you keep saying Ross Run Road, and it's just Ross Run, things like that. So, we don't get it 100% on the first try, but we get 99.9, so, you'll have your chance to look at that, make comments on those things, and also, hey, we don't think this was addressed, I'd like this to be addressed, and we'll get to what we can. Ultimately, the final approval falls to this body, but,
So
yeah, November.
theoretically, then the public would get access to this no worse than say by the next planning meeting when the copy will be available.
Yes.
Which would be Monday coming up, hopefully. Okay.
Right.
But Tanya, the next planning meeting wasn't scheduled, so they're gonna try to get them to meet Monday, if not, I'm gonna skip them up, and that's why we're looking at November or December, but you'll get it when the planning, board gets it, all right?
Yeah, the key thing's that 45 days review, that's state mandated, so we'll follow that, and 45 days later, we'll be back here.
All right, any other questions from Mr. Wanamaker, from anybody?
I would just like to say, Matt, could you please thank Jamie on our behalf for all of the work that she did for us in your absence?
I will do that.
We appreciate it very much.
All right, Matt has nothing else, right?
Nothing else.
Awesome, good stuff. Back to you, Alice.
Okay, I have a few items here that I just wanted to review with everybody. First, if any of you have seen our post on Facebook, we now have installed outside the front doors a new drop box for sewer payments that has been installed and bolted to the brick. And now anybody can drop off those sewer payments whenever it's convenient for them. It's safe, it's secure, and even during the day, I know a lot of people come by now during the day and hand their sewer payment in. They don't even have to come in, they can put it right in the box. During the heavy sewer times, the box will be checked probably 3 to 4 times a day, and the payments will be processed. So, the feedback that we had from our last sewer round was just a few weeks ago, talking to them about the box. Everybody seemed pretty excited about it, so we were happy to do that for our community. I wanted to give a quick update. Cross Road Crosswalk, which is by Meadow Glen, is now starting to get worked on. And at this stage, they had went to dig the foundation for the big extension pole that'll go across with the blinking lights, and they ran into a little snafu. There were other utility lines in the area, so they had to push back about 5 feet, which means our new extension pole will be extended 5 more feet, so from 40 feet to 45 feet. But they're giving us daily updates with that, and TPD is involved with going out and inspecting all the work as it's being done. So it seems like it's a solid coordination between the vendor, our professional staff, and us. So we're very happy so far with everything. I wanted to make an announcement. We have scheduled a budget workshop this year, which will be October 9th, starting at 6 o'clock. Here at the Township Building. We will also post that information on Facebook as well as our website for the community to know, and everybody's invited to come in as well and participate.
Is that where you, sorry, can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Is that where you would suggest us to recommend stormwater management items or?
Sure,
Like,
I
are
mean,
there-
anything
Are
that
there
is.
topics related to that, like where?
Right, so as the budget, is reviewed in the different sections, there's an area for stormwater management. And, we'll talk about what we see, as far as MS4, cause MS4 ties to that as well. And what we can do to, increase, our facilities so that everything works right. So
Thank you.
that's a
And
good
Sam,
time that you can share that.
Anything you guys want for park board hold up, that's a good course of that, right?
All right, thank you.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
you skipped one.
I know, cause I went back around.
Okay.
So now, I'm gonna just update everybody on the fun stuff. We have a lot of exciting things coming up this weekend especially, in the Skip Pack community. Starting with Saturday, the Skip Pack Fire Department is putting on their Skip Pack Touch-A-Truck, which is going to be held at the Skip Pack Elementary Building, right over here. How many years have you been doing it now? Like two? Third year, and the results are always phenomenal. Everybody, it's always great. Everybody gives great feedback. They love it. It was a great idea to start that. I think the community really looks forward to that each year. What is the time that it starts? I'm sorry.
10 to 2.
10 to 2. And then following the Touch-A-Truck on Saturday, we have our Skip Pack Township Community Day, which will be held at the 4-H Center. We're gonna have a lot of different vendors, activities for the kids, food trucks, music, and all of the board will be here. The full staff from Skip Pack Community, from the Township Building, will be working the Community Day, so we'd love to invite everybody to come out and just celebrate our community and moving forward. Currently, right now, I believe it started yesterday, we have the Skip Pack Carnival, which again is a really exciting time for young children as well as adults, but it's a lot of rides for the young kids down in the village. And the Skip Pack Carnival it's on right now from 6 to 10 tonight, but this will also go through Sunday.
That's a lot happening.
A lot happening this weekend, it's gonna be busy.
There'll be a lot of trash to pick up.
A lot of trash, a lot of traffic, a lot of people, a lot of economy.
Be
money
careful
flowing.
driving out there.
Yeah.
Anything else, Alice?
I think that was everything for me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Lots of good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, see an item under old business, discussion, consideration, potential action on Palmer Park Playground.
Yes, so, my, board colleagues, last month, yes, thank you. Last month, we handed out these packets, for your review. I also delivered some of the focus group comments that we got when we had 4 moms with kids of varying ages come in and take a look at the concepts and give us feedback. So, what is on the table tonight is for us to have an understanding first that the current playground equipment is 23 years old and needs to be replaced. So that is why we put playground equipment and also a splash pad, we'll talk about that in a moment, but playground equipment into the 2025 budget, okay? We need to move on this. What we would recommend is that we, in phase 1, get our old equipment down, put our new playground equipment as proposed here in these diagrams in this fall. And the benefit of that is we get it in, we have the new stuff in, it's in this budget, as well as the fact that playground equipment comes from Canada. So we may be able to avoid tariffs if that becomes, part of the equation. Phase 1 would be the equipment itself. Phase 2 would be the rubberized safety pad that's in the proposal. And that wouldn't be done until the spring because of weather
And temperature.
and temperature, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
But how
all
would
of
that
this,
affect MS4? I'm just curious, does that affect permeability?
to some extent it may, but we've consolidated the area quite a bit. And it does enable more play and less maintenance with all the mulch that we usually have there that doesn't drain well and gets wet and is not good to play on. So, I don't see that it's gonna have a huge impact.
Would you find it worth?
And I mean the coordinated water as well, but those are issues we didn't talk about at the board meeting, at the park board meeting. So, that's my only comment there.
The what, I'm sorry, what was that?
I said in coordinated water with storm water runoff, management of that as well. Were items
Yeah, and it,
that may not have been discussed as this proposal exists with the park board.
we did talk about the rubberized.
Yeah, and I think, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that the people, some of the people had concerns with this proposal, so.
Right.
And I don't wanna speak for everyone at the meeting, so.
Yeah. Well, this is the wave of the future. This is what, parks all around us are doing. Tim, I don't know if you have an opinion about water runoff,
Yeah, so
this kind of a format.
That rubberized surface is permeable. And so typically when we put rubberized surface in, we do some under drainage of that surface. And so, that collects and does run down from the playground area, it runs down to the detention basin that was built in conjunction with Palmer Park. And there is capacity in that basin for additional.
Right, but there was also a parking lot bill and other things as well. So
Yeah.
there's not as much as we think there was at one time.
Yeah, if we look back at the original Palmer Park plans, that, the stormwater basin was designed to accommodate, that parking lot that was built off of Creamery Road was actually in the original plans then.
Yeah, but to that point, we're doing stormwater retention restoration on the stream where the water goes down into the village, right? We are doing.
Yeah, but that parking lot actually drains the other direction.
I'm not debating with you.
Good
And I didn't
question.
mean to take
No,
it
it's
away.
okay. It's good questions. That's what we're here to do, have the dialogue. So anyway, that is part of the plan to mitigate, a lot of the, problem with maintaining the mulch day in and day out, especially when it's wet. So that's phase one and phase two. Like I said, we had the focus groups, the budget for this was $1,095,000 just for the, playground. I mean, no, it's coming in at amount of the playground and rubber safety surface is coming in about $1,000,001. The splash pad, which I had mentioned, would be something that needs more discussion. We have one concept, we haven't really, thoroughly, gotten to that yet. It requires some additional conversation, and I'm recommending we move that to 2026 budget. There was a lot of interest in it from the focus group, and there's a lot of examples of it in surrounding communities. So, and like I said earlier, moving the splash pad and staying within budget on this part of the, proposal, enables us to do that bocce, also enables us to do bocce courts within budget, so. This is all, through CoStars, which means we don't have to go through the bid process. And
But
there's
this
no
was a-
paying of sales tax.
Did we confirm that?
Yes.
But this was one bid through CoStar, right? Like, we didn't get multiple bids.
No, you don't
It's not
have
a
to
bid.
when it's
It's not a
CoStar.
bid. It doesn't go through a bid process because you're dealing with a CoStars vendor. Okay, and CoStars is the cooperative purchasing program, and it's a conduit through which registered and eligible Pennsylvania local public procurement units and state affiliated entities are able to leverage contracts established, cost effectively and efficiently. So,
No, I'm not.
no, I like to explain what things like that
nursery.
kids with special needs to have some quiet play over in certain areas, wheelchair access to some of the play areas. Some of the things we will tweak are line of sight, color, maybe a spinning feature instead of a certain other feature, but nothing big that will change the amount that we're spending. Just minor tweaks.
A couple clarifying questions. There are lots of really cool rendering pictures from different angles. Is it all the same project, just from different angles?
It
Okay.
is. And some of the things you see in there, like trash cans and benches, are being pulled out, because we can do that more, cost effectively on our own.
And the next question I have, I get co-stars means you don't have to bid, but does it really rule out the ability that if we did bid, we might be able to get cheaper from a different vendor? Does anybody who's double co-stars know that answer?
So when co-stars, so you could get co-stars anywhere on any vendor throughout anything, a fence, anything. They have to be approved by the state. So it's basically numbers that have already been negotiated with the state. And this style playground, which is what they're doing now. You know, Sam had mentioned, how much would the playground, we couldn't even find a playground that was 20 years old that looks like what we have now, because this is where everybody is. It's like, saying, I wanna replace the car that's 20 years old. It's gonna be hard to find, cause no one's really making them.
No, I guess my question is, just for $1.1 million, it's a clarification question. Because someone is co-source qualified, we don't have to get another quote by law.
Right.
But if we have three vendors that maybe all are co-stars, and they had some sort of similar thing, could there be some variation to this? We just knocked off 25% of the bocce board by piecemeal a little bit. If we knocked off 25% of $1 million, I mean, Jesus, all I'm getting at is I love what I see here. It's beautiful. I came from the park board, I'm a big fan. I spent decades in the park with my kids. This is awesome looking. I'm just wondering, for $1.1 million, are there other things we can explore to either validate something cheaper or confirm that this is really our best bet? I mean, it's $1.1 million.
Yeah, I think the question is, do we get any other estimates?
We did not. We went to the Burke vendor. My understanding is, even if we were to go to another vendor and they tried to imitate this, the numbers are the same, because it's co-star, so they all have to stay the same. That's what agreed upon.
I'm not sure that's what co-stars means.
Hmm?
I'm not sure that's exactly what co-stars means. But that's why I'm asking. I'm asking clarification, because I don't know for sure.
Tim, could I ask a question?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Tim, have you dealt with playgrounds have you put together bid specs for playgrounds in other townships?
We just did one in Springfield Township last summer, Sam, and they purchased their equipment from Burke from a co-star's bid. We did, in that instance, it was a new playground, so we did bid the site work. And so the excavation, the earth moving, the erosion control measures were part of the bid, but the equipment itself was purchased from co-stars.
Tim, so let's take the playground out of it, because I think people have focused too much on it. If I go to buy a truck, the Public Works, I go to co-stars and buy an F-350, but could I go to multiple different co-stars F-350 providers and get a quote that varied to some degree? Because even though they're all pre-approved, doesn't mean that they're all guaranteed the same price.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I don't need for $1.1 million, I don't need a small percentage of variation. It's a huge savings, is all I'm getting at.
I've never done that. I don't know.
Okay, all right, that's fair. Tanya, go ahead.
Is this like, I don't know who did the plan, but like one person did the plan, like did they look at multiple different plans or both different?
We had a
price
wish,
points?
yes. What we did is we had kind of developed a wish list
Okay.
of what we wanted to see in a plan, and it included a number of different things, right? Lots of options in terms of play, lots of ADA types of, requirements, natural theme, so in terms of the colors, variety of different choices. I have the whole list of the wish list. And they built it based on the things that were in we shared that also with the focus group. And they loved the wish list and they liked what they saw in the plan. But yeah, if we need to do something different, I just wanted to say that if we delay this, we're moving into another budget potentially, and we probably do need to remove playground equipment
Absolutely.
at our parks.
Well, I guess that's another great thing I'd love to see. I mean, I understand there was inspection that showed that something's failing. So what exactly is it? I mean, for something like $100,000 bocce court, we have to have a piecemeal, right? When we get quotes for different things, we say, can you give it to me? A would cost this, B would cost this, C would cost this. So I mean, it'd be awesome for $1.1 million if we saw this section cost this section cost this, section cost this. So we kind of look at it, and hey, maybe all 1.1 is awesome. I think that's a lot of money to not do, to show our constituents, do a little extra due diligence to prove that
That is-
price is the price.
It's what we budgeted in the budget, just FYI, for the playground equipment.
Tanya, go ahead.
The other couple questions I have is, what are the long term of this playground? Like, is it expected to last 20 years or 30 years, or like, what's the long term, how, like, we're not like in 30 years gonna be spending another 1.1 million, like, so
Yeah.
that would be my question there. And then what's the safety aspects? Is there anything on this that would, you know, did someone really look at that aspect of it to make sure that, you know, the equipment that you're purchasing isn't questionable and the kids will be safe and there won't be injuries?
That's definitely, their reputations
And then
depend on the safety.
I personally would much rather see the money put into a playground like this that you can use it year round and that will last for so many years versus maybe the kiddie pool that you can only open like 4 months out of the year and it could have all kinds of problems.
So the kiddie pool is something totally.
No, I know, but I'm saying is, I personally would like to see more monies put into something like this, where it's year round, it lasts a long term, there's not gonna be a lot of maintenance to it. You know, something that's more stable, that's not, doesn't have a huge insurance risk on it, and that kind of thing, is
Yeah.
my opinion.
Every piece has got a warranty, but it's not like a general warranty for that entire picture in front of you. And those warranties are explained in the proposal on more of a piecemeal basis.
Alice, can you remind us of what the failing component or components are that we have to be concerned about liability that we should?
I have pictures of it.
So what's that look like to remove? Inside, do we don't have to take the whole playground set down, do we?
Yes.
The entire playground set, the swings, everything?
Yes.
They don't even touch each other.
Well, swings.
Maybe not the swings, but that the unit in the middle,
Yeah.
yes.
Do we have a quote to remove that?
We were gonna have Public Works do it.
Okay. Do we get money back on recycling?
Some, but not all, because a lot of it's like the Trexomos wood,
Okay.
that type of stuff, composite.
Sam, I'd love to hear the park board's perspective. What were you, what were your thoughts from the park board? If you can summarize those, and what was your involvement with the focus groups?
I had nothing to do with focus groups. Justin, I think, might have been involved, the township assistant manager, was Justin involved with the focus group? But the park board, Karen gave us feedback.
Yeah, I went to as the liaison, I was at the parks meeting with Justin, and all this was discussed. I'd say that in general, they weren't crazy about it, and like Sam said, they asked for, what if we just replaced what we have currently? And didn't go in this direction with all of this kind of more fancy and modernized stuff. And, that's, when we thought that it would also be a benefit to, and I think Nick even suggested that there was a mom's group that we could talk to and get some feedback. And they came in, and that's what we did. And I'm sorry if,
No, I
Parks
don't
Board
wanna speak for
wasn't
everybody.
invited, but it was a morning, and I know a lot of you guys work, so. But I did send them the feedback from the mom's group on an email.
And I think I don't wanna speak for everyone at the meeting, because we didn't come to a final agreement on it. I think there were some questions that were asked. But I think the general consensus was 1.2 is a little expensive, the way it was. That was my take from last.
And last meeting, I reported on your feedback in this
Okay.
meeting,
So-
last month.
Yeah.
So Nick looked this up. Suppliers in Pennsylvania's cold storage programs do not have to offer the same price for the same item to every buyer. Yeah, so I'll go on the record again, that's garbage, it's dangerous, it needs to be removed, we need to replace it. I understand that, we're a township, you don't go to Home Depot and buy stuff. I'm a big fan of the parks and improvement and the kids having a safe place to be. I just think for $1 million, $2 million, whatever, I think we just, and if it ends up being that, fantastic, but I think we just owe it to the constituents to show our work on here's the 3, 5 things that we checked off. We worked with the park board, got their input and buy-in, that was the best way to go. But I think there's still some, at least minor investigation that can take place to see if we get a better deal. No?
I mean, what the park board had suggested was even the touch truck event that's happening at Skippack Elementary. Those are mostly gonna be residents that would use the playground. Skippack Elementary has a playground as well, and might be able to give some feedback.
Are you gonna is the park board gonna be up there, have a table?
We don't have a table here.
Oh, well,
Happy to go. For additional feedback.
feedback's always welcome.
Sure.
It's always good, get the feedback. I know that, I
I'm
will
not here
say,
to talk about that, though.
I will say the moms group that came in, these were, first off, lovely, lovely ladies and,
A lot of energy for it.
yes, and what I will say, they hit playgrounds everywhere.
Okay.
So,
have
and
two
I know when
kids.
I had my
have
kids,
two kids, the same.
right, you go to
14
different
and-
playgrounds,
Yeah,
you
I've
get
hit
the
'em all.
experience and everything. So they really were able to add some good
They
feedback.
were showing us pictures of both this playground over here and this one over
And this-
here.
yeah.
It was pretty,
Mhm.
they were on top of it.
Right,
So are they residents, I guess,
Yes.
would be the question that they're paying.
yeah, they're all residents.
So what is the action then? Do you want us to consult with other,
Vendors,
vendors for, and share our wish list, right? Because we did talk about the wish list last month. And get some other renderings.
and we'll bump it to next year, cause this won't happen
There's
once
gonna
you
be a lot
get
of upset
things
people.
out to other vendors.
Yeah.
It just is what it is,
Yeah.
but, I mean, realistically, it's September, mid-September, so by the time we hit, 4 other vendors, let's say, and
Hey,
say.
I'm only one person. What I'd love to see is the due diligence that goes through my mind, is one, is that we've talked to other vendors, and two, is that we got the quote kind of piecemeal, so that we can kind of see that and justify it. And I don't know if we,
It is itemized,
is
just,
it by section?
it's itemized by,
It's not, this is like shipping, and this is like the demolition, it's not like,
Yeah.
hey, this section here costs, $500,000, this section here is
Oh,
$400,000.
no, it's
What I'm
not.
getting at is like, I don't wanna be in
it's
continual.
the whole package for the
Yeah.
actual equipment, play equipment.
Yeah,
We
and
can
I'll
ask
leave
them
it-
to do that.
Yeah, because we've done it for every other thing we bid out was more than $100,000. Like, give it to me in like a menu kind of choice, so I can see if there's any potential outliers. Something that seems way more expensive than the value you might get from it, or hey, let's do this part, but leave that part till next year. Whereas I'm just, and at the end of the day, I may absolutely go for every bit of this, but I just think that for that amount of money, we need to do a little extra proof to the township that we're responsible for $1 million, which is about half of a yearly's income for us. So, that's just
So-
one man's thought.
Right, one action will be removing the current playground equipment in the next couple of weeks.
Mhm.
I think I would agree with Karen there. I'm concerned that with the way that playground is breaking down, you're sitting on a lawsuit. At which, I'm not sure Mr. Cools would appreciate that, but,
You might have to work.
but, I would be very concerned about that.
I'm very concerned too, that the inspection give any kind of guidance on red, yellow, green. This is red, gotta stop it right away, this is yellow, we can probably get on the season. Is there any kind of indication other than this looks good, this looks bad? Does anyone know?
As far as.
You said it was
As far as the inspection went on the current equipment.
Yeah,
I have pictures, but I don't have any red, yellow, green.
I'm making stuff up.
No,
Is there any
get your
indication
drift.
from the inspector?
We did a report, there's a report, I believe Justin has a report, so we can certainly get that out and share it with everybody.
Just that it would be interesting to see if they give guidance, like saying this is imperative to do today. This can last for a little bit, but just to.
That
just
type of structure balances on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that playground, you take one part down, you gotta take one part.
Yeah.
Is it both
Even the bridge that you go across. Now, looking at it, it doesn't look failing, but you know what even the mom said, and maybe, you know, Nick, you have your, kids there and everything, that it can be slippery. So, you know, like it's all these little things that, and it's a little over 20 years old. So.
Is it both playgrounds or just the big playground?
I know definitely the big major one, the tot lot, you don't have as much of a high fall risk. You know how everything at the size of the slide, and swings and whatnot, they all have a diameter, they all have a fall height to
Yeah, but
have
that's
no.
relative by the size of the kid on the playground.
Pardon?
That's relative to the size of the kid on the playground.
This
But,
is
but
all-
that's what they go by when they're looking at the fall risk.
I mean, it's old, and we knew this coming into our budget season too.
That's so
this year.
perfectly correct, look, it's a C. Well, I'm not disputing that we have problems, I just wanna see how bad the
Well,
problems are.
it just shows you kind of how wide they go.
And maybe, hey, maybe we prepare for next meeting that we give a presentation and show these on the screen, let people know what we're going through. I mean, if you're gonna ask people to spend $1 million, here's what's going on, and your kid's safety is at risk, and here's what it costs to replace, that's absolutely. I
Well,
hear you.
I was hoping that that's what I was doing.
Oh. Well, I'll let somebody
And
else.
really, right now, that we know, all of us agree, and it's public, so if there is liability, and it's probably the best idea to start having that removed.
Once it's done, can we turn it into a dirt bike track for the
We can have the mulch piled up and just like jumps and stuff. Marion, you can go out if you'd like.
Alright,
Is
so
Palmer Park the only
are we
park
voting, or are we,
Didn't have playground equipment?
No, we also have
still
church.
discussing?
Well, are we replacing that as well?
We did
We did
Yeah.
already.
Well, that was $150,000 though, I mean, I remember doing that, I get the prices change. Yeah, all I'm saying is, you know, it's a little sticker shock right now, and I'm sure our constituents have sticker shock, so let's do the extra dotting of the i's and crossing the t's, is the only thing I'm saying,
Agreed,
yeah.
it's a lot of money.
Well, we put this money in the budget specifically for playground equipment. So quite frankly, I don't have sticker shock, because I
We
was
said
kind
it
of
was gonna
confused.
cost.
Pardon me?
That's what we said it was gonna probably be,
Right.
because that's what's in the budget.
And so I don't have that sticker shock because we budgeted for this and we expected it to be these kind of numbers. I do think though, like I said earlier, we need to take the other stuff away. And, you know, when we were doing the comprehensive plan and we had all of our meetings with the township residents, one of the things they love about Skippack is our parks and rec. And now, we're saying that I don't wanna use the word quibbling, but I know it's a lot of money, but at the same time, it was an expectation.
Yeah, all I'm getting at is if we just do a little bit of homework and say 10%, that's over $100,000, right? All I'm just saying is, let's show our work a little bit instead of just, you know, I don't know, that's my opinion, there's 5 of us, what do you guys wanna do?
I just have a quick question. The stuff that the moms recommended that you email out, did we send any of that to them to see like how much it would cost to add?
No, because it's tweaking and it's not gonna be, we would not let it add to the cost. So,
Okay.
it's just kind of like switch out this or, you know,
Yeah.
just modify the swing set, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cause I'm not, there's no sticker shock on my part either. I expected it to be this much, but I kind of would like to see like 2 or 3 different visions of what it could look like to kind of incorporate like some of what they said and like just different ideas. Cause this is good, but is there one that can be better, that's a little bit cheaper? We don't know that unless we ask.
Okay. So we'll reach out to a couple
Hey,
other
I don't wanna
vendors.
dismiss this work, this is fantastic work, by you, the park board, the moms, but it does feel like you got this, yes or no, versus ABC, right? So that's a great work, this is awesome. Let's just finish it out strong.
we could get some other ideas and get them out there. I mean, we could do that.
Well, is there a number you'd like to see?
Well, you know, hey, if suppose we got 2 other quotes with 2 other different sets of options, they're all the same price. It's not about appeasing me, I'm trying to
No,
keep my
I get
taxpayer
it.
head on. You know, that, coming up with other quotes at the same price validates what we're doing, makes sense. So if somebody complains, and you go, we did this 3 times, versus, we saw one thing, we said yes, right? All I'm saying is, maybe we do 2 more and they're way more expensive. So I'm not looking for a number so much as proving to the average taxpayer why it makes sense. And we have the safety thing going for us.
And I think those were some of the questions that the park board had asked the last.
And I hate to, you know, go against the park board, had some outstanding questions for this, I think it's a little early to vote on it, but I think we're going in the right direction here. Other question, did they give any kind of guidelines on how long, if you order stuff, it takes to come in, takes to install?
They felt like they could get it installed in the fall, this fall, October, November, yeah.
And before the like if there's tariffs that hit, obviously they're gonna be rolling into, we'll have to build, that'll be something that we may have to take away from to compensate for that. And the rubber matting wasn't gonna be done until the spring because of the temperature control and when that had to go in.
So, there's no rush to get something in for the winter because of the least used, but the rush is to avoid ambiguity of potential tariff impacts.
It's not as much of I don't wanna say like the rush. It
It's just one
was,
of the
you know, it was
implications.
in the budget, we started to do the work that we can. You know, there's only 1 or 2 of us really, you know, working on it along with everything else, so, you know, the time is the time that we can give to it. And knowing that on the other side of it, the playground's gonna, you know, be shut down for a while, through the winter, most likely. So if we can come up with a different plan, or whatever the case may be, compare prices, we have a couple months, and then we'll have to see, get on the installation for the springtime,
Okay.
you know?
I said, I don't want anything against it, I'm all for making sure that we continue to budget for it at that rate, I just wanna do some due
We'll do
diligence.
the due diligence
Yep.
and we'll come back and figure it out. That's what we're tasked with doing, so it's fine.
We all good? Sam?
Yeah, and maybe there's more that I don't know about, like the risk or liability, but is there time that we have to have it down on it?
Plus, I wanna
Yes.
see the report, I mean, the report's gotta have some indication there, whether it's imminent or short term. No?
And is it a liability? Like, is it
Oh,
insurance?
yes.
Are insurance carriers telling we have to take it down? or-
Maybe we should have in-depth discussions
Okay.
about it.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you. Thanks for the input.
All right, anything else about that?
If I can go back to the bocce,
Yep.
I had somebody call and just question with the work that's gonna be done, is that pavilion gonna be open to the public now at all?
Why would that change from our current?
Well, because it's fenced in and it's the bocce league that kinda oversees, and we have that other, group that comes in and plays. But I think somebody had said, you know, they can't get in, the gate's locked. So, and I said, well, constituents can use it, but you have to, you know, you have to reserve it, and you have to get in, and you would have to bring your own equipment and everything too, but it's not the normal habit, I guess, because it's locked up. So, I was just gonna put it out there, cause you're part of bocce, right? Or no?
I'm not very much.
Okay. Does anybody know about that?
I'm with Karen, so what changes that, I mean, nothing changed.
So right now, if, let's say, we're all like, let's go let's go play some bocce. We would have to, and we weren't us, right? Knowing the code to get in the gate and whatever, we would have to call the township. How can I organize, you know, a time for my group of 20 people to play bocce, and how much is it gonna cost, because there's fees associated with the use of the bocce. even for constituents, there's a constituent fee to use
Yeah, that's
bocce.
no different than pavilion rental.
Yeah, I'm still back to, so what changed? I mean, you know, yesterday is no different than tomorrow.
I'm
They-
just saying, I'm asking because somebody called and
Oh.
asked me.
If they were to rent it out, there's a fee schedule for it.
Correct.
They can request to rent it out, as long as it's available, not being used for league play, they can have access to it.
Mm-hmm.
And we would just need the money, right? And then you give them the code and they could go access it at that period.
I thought not only did we give them the code, I thought we gave them the code and the equipment.
No.
No,
So
that's the
this was
league.
the
You
first
put
time.
it in that back room?
I guess.
Hmm?
This was the first time a constituent requested.
They were asking, I guess, basically how to use it, and then why isn't it open? Why does somebody have to go through this in order to just
There
go play
was,
bocce?
there was damage to the bocce court because before the fence, people let their kids play in there, cats were using it for a litter box, blah, blah, blah. So that's why we put a fence around it.
Okay,
And our policy stays the same
okay.
Yep.
because of that, yeah.
Now, they may have a hard time finding available time because the bocce league's very active, but if there's available time, they can rent them out. There's a price fee on the website, I think, right?
Yes, mm-hmm, perfect.
Question, so once they have a code, can they be accessed anytime without letting anybody know, as long as there's no other bocce happening? Cause they got the code, and they can get in.
Well, that's a question for the supervisors, right? Like theoretically, you could create your own code at that time and reset.
I believe the bocce club manages that code,
Okay,
and then they switch it up.
alright.
It's a good question though.
And Rob,
Yeah.
one part order is on
Yeah.
bocce league, so.
Okay,
I mean, and who knows, maybe they're calling because they saw it on this month's agenda, and they're saying to themselves, potential authorization to award bid to update the bocce courts, paying for that with our tax dollars, why is it not available for every person to use?
It is, but there's a way to get availability
Yep.
because of all the reasons that were stated in terms of damage and abuse. It's just a hypothetical. No,
Good-
you're right,
good
you're
point.
right, that's probably why they're.
That's probably why they're calling.
But I also think if we would disclose that 1.2 budget line item, you'd have a lot more people complaining about playground equipment. That's just one person answering that question. But we don't mention the dollars of the line.
well, the budget, it was on the budget, and the budget's been
Budget's
available to the
No,
public.
that's great.
Yeah, but at the
We'll
same
see how
time,
many
everyone's-
people come to the October 9th meeting, right, or the 10th.
But every, you know, just kind of on the budget, we had people complain at the budget hearing. Why are you putting $1.1 million to the park? And we said, look, it's just a budget number, it doesn't mean necessarily we spend it. But if we go and spend it right away with one quote, it looks like we threw a fastball past them. That's what I'm thinking. It's like, we told them at the budget hearing, don't get hung up on a budget a budget. Doesn't mean we're gonna spend it all. So now we said, you'll get another bite at the apple when it comes time to actually spend the money, to have it scrutinized, the spending of the money. So that's all I want to do is make sure we're scrutinizing. Because you can't keep saying, don't worry about it, here it is. Then people say you built that, you kept bluffing me until you spent that money, right? I get it's the budget. But that doesn't mean that everyone's okay with it right now.
It does sound.
I'm with you,
Yeah.
I hear you.
All right, we're gonna go to public comment, comments from the board? We'll go left to right. Barbara, we haven't heard from you in a while.
Okay, do you ever really wanna hear from me?
Yes.
I'll tell you in 5 minutes.
Okay, so, Tanya and I did ride around and we did look at historical buildings in Greenery. And the conclusion to the ride, well, we had lots of conclusions because we're women, but I would really love it if all our Skip Back residents were aware that we have a historical society. I've lived in Skip Back 38 years, and I think year 30 did Rick Thornton ask me to join the Skip Back Historical Society, and I was like, what? We have a society, historical? How much? And it was like $10 or something, or $20, it was ridiculous. I was like, for that, everybody should know that we have a historical society, so that they can contribute to that. Be nice if they would contribute a couple bucks
It's $30 for a family member.
for a family, right?
And
But
there is an
if you're
example September 27th is the encampment happening at the Indian Hall.
Do we have links for the Historic Society on our
Could we
website?
put it on our website, could we
Great.
just like, because I don't think people are aware. I would like to just make more awareness that such a thing exists, if you'd like to be a member of it, and
They can come and make
aren't
a
you so happy?
presentation sometime too.
Aren't you happy living in Skippack and it's got historical things? And we're keeping it charming.
Do those houses have plaques on them?
No,
They have to go through the process of getting.
Yeah.
see, I don't know what it
Dedicated,
all,
I
I
think
don't
the
know
rooms.
anything about that.
They would have to register through the state, like each house was registered, but the more that does that, the more we keep our historic presence.
And some owners will want to do that and some do not, because they can't then change their house in a certain way if they get
Right.
registered.
But then other buildings, like in historical, they will also benefit from that for grants. So the more places that are registered and there is an historic
I
district.
just think we should make it an awareness, that, cause I had no clue if there was even such a thing.
We should like have them a booth at the community days, have.
Or, yeah, you
Well, I think they do.
Thank you. We, I don't know if we're doing community days, we just had a board meeting last night for the, so I'm on the Historical Society board, I think Nick might know. And Karen knows for sure. But, yeah, we talked about the community days, we're trying to make sure we can have someone, but some of us work full time. It's an all volunteer run organization, but we do have an encampment coming up at the end of the month, so feel free to pass
Which
Yeah,
is
along the
fun.
information.
Yeah.
but again, not everybody goes to the community days. You
A lot
know?
of people do.
At least what they did last year.
Yeah.
Hopefully more people.
Does the
come.
Historic Society ever ask to put their, meetings
So-
or anything on our signage?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, so we do at the Fall Fest as well, you guys co-sponsor the Fall Fest coming up in October. So, I mean, there has been communication in the past, the township has been very supportive of the Historical Society, so thank you.
We have advertised the Fall Fest, but generally like the encampment thing, with that, they haven't come to us and said, hey, can you put this on the board, on the signs or whatever, which we could for
Right.
you, if you would like.
Does the township have a table at community day?
No,
Could-
no.
No, does like the township have a table, like could they put their flyer, like donate to, to sign up for the yearly, maybe that could be, even if you can't attend, maybe just put a stack of flyers so people could mail it in or donate and try to, sign up. Like to make people aware that it's coming or something.
We don't really, I mean, we will have a small table, but generally, a lot of us are working the whole thing. But if you wanted to put something out there and have somebody come and talk to people, that's fine. It's on a Sunday. It's from
Yeah.
12 to 4.
Wear one of those costumes though.
I know, I was wondering, did anyone invite someone from the park to come speak, like a ranger, since the park is part of Skippack, Evansburg State Park?
At the community day,
Yeah.
not that I'm aware of, I can follow up with Danielle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barbara, do you have anything else?
No. That's it.
Thank you, Barbara.
Nick?
Just that onto what Barb said, the Skippack Historical Society has a brand new website, I saw. And also, when I was a senior in high school, my senior project was the history of Creamery. I actually have a copy of a bunch of the old houses in Creamery's first deed from 1700s.
Wow.
Which is kind of cool. But I also just want to thank everybody for approving the proclamation recognizing Sharon Cullen. I did talk to Sean yesterday, he does wish he could be here, but he appreciates it and he knows that Sharon will be very appreciative as well.
Great. Marion?
Yes, I would just, ask for, an agenda item for next month to address the SEMS, issue with, their sewer. And we discussed last month that it was, going to be more than we had originally thought than just buying pumps, which didn't work out, and we need more improvements. And it didn't make this month's agenda, so I would like to suggest that we definitely put it on next month. Thanks. And also too,
absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, all good.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Karen?
Just wanted to make everybody aware, I sent something to Alice about it's Suicide Prevention Month. And so maybe there's some, I sent along some of the hotline and numbers and things like that. And I think it's probably a good idea to advertise some of those things on our Facebook pages.
Mhm.
And thank you everybody for your conversation and feedback tonight. I appreciate it.
Great.
See you at Community Day.
The only thing I have is to inform everyone that there is an opening on the zoning hearing board.
Oh, yeah.
So if you wanna be, considered for that, you can contact Alice, the township. Alice, I know that when I went to the park, where there's some form you can fill out, we can't find one, we could probably just Google one real quick, and people can fill out a form, and just list your contact information, where you know, where you live in Skippack, how long you've been here, and what other special skills you might have, what make you a real good fit for the zoning hearing board, then we'll review those and we'll appoint somebody. So anyone interested, just contact Alice, all right?
And will we advertise that in another way, anywhere?
Yeah, what's the best way to do that?
We could certainly put it on our website and put it out to Facebook.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of putting that out, real quick, could we put the new ordinances that we passed on social media?
Sure.
Just to let everybody know that keep your motorized vehicles.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, we'll definitely push a lot of that new information out to them.
All right. I had nothing else. With that, meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
I wasn't.
I think you left your keys
Bill,
in
I
the
wasn't
door.
asking you about.
What's that?
Your
No,
keys
like,
are in
but
the
I know
door?
the county also
In what door?
has to.
Go into the bathroom.
Is
Is that your keys?
decisions like-
I don't know. I don't know whose